Hi peeps, it's Tess back. I've not been streaming for, well, no, I've not been streaming for, like, I don't know, about a month or something. I didn't intend to stream, but I just never got around to it. It's been a funny old year. I had my sister over for Christmas. I've got elderly parents in the house, as you know. I think you've heard. I've been taking care of them and making sure that they don't get infected. And the only reason I had my sister over is she's been working for at least a month and a half by herself. Not, pardon me, and not, she's not been interacting with any other people, right? She goes to work, she works there herself, she goes home, you know. So, yeah, I said, yeah, okay. Uh, so she came over for Christmas. It was from, pardon me. Apparently I've got a bit of gas going on. So my sister came over and visited us for the Christmas. Thank God. That was fantastic having my sister over. Gave me a little bit of a break looking after my parents and stuff. I still didn't do any gaming or streaming or anything like that. But then I'm getting to the end of the year. It's the new year. It's 2021 now. And thank God 2020 is behind us, eh? Thank God 2020 is behind us. But, you know, I was thinking about making this video before, midnight. I just didn't get around to it because I spent some time with my parents from about 11:30 to midnight, phoning family and saying, I know it's not midnight yet, but we can't see each other. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, blah blah blah. Right, doing all that. But then I came into, I said goodnight to my parents and that, and they put them in bed, gave them medications and all that, sorted them out. And then now I've got a little bit of time for myself, and I'm looking at stuff. I'm catching up on. I don't see everything I used to see. I just don't have time anymore. Uh, my parents are elderly. They're ill. I've spent a lot of time looking after them. So it's not like I regret it or anything. That's I would do that anyway, right? But it's just 2020 fucking shit. It really fucking fucked everything up. And anyway, I'm just here to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all. But I've got to. Okay, so anyway, so I seen this video. I think it was by, was it? It's not TYT. It's what is it? Fucking Majority Report, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I kind of like some of the people. I like some of the people in TYT. I don't like all of them. Not all. I like some of the people in Majority Report. They're not all fantastic, right? But they got this guy on. Just can I just let you listen to some of this, right? Because this is. I think it's important. This guy's speaking from the heart, and I posted. I typed in the chat about this as well. Look, we all know that Britain had an empire. We did horrible things. But I mean, the thing is, Britain's got this fucking horrible name for we went around the world and conquered all these countries. Yeah, we did. But we're doing it at the same time as the fucking Portuguese, the Spanish, the Germans, the French, right? And if you look at the colonies those fuckers left behind, Britain's colonies have ended up a lot fucking better. A lot better off, right? Um, but yet Britain is like, oh, you were the biggest, so you were the worst, right? And I've got to say that's not fucking true. Um, the British Empire has still got what we call the Commonwealth going on. These countries want to be connected to Britain. Why the fuck Britain did Brexit and left out, I've got no fucking idea. This is the fucking, wanking, fucking ridiculous fucking brain cells anomaly. You know what I mean? People having fewer brain cells than they're supposed to have. That anomaly, right? Like Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, almost any politician. Um, yeah, they're intelligent, they can get a fucking degree, but they don't know how to fucking use their brain. The only thing they know how to do is fucking read books and repeat what's in the books. They don't know how to actually have a normal, like, a normal sort of like real thought in their own heads that came from themselves. It's like they just spew shit that they've read for books that they've memorised, and it's like, yeah, that's fine. We all know you can fucking speak Latin. That's fine. Latin's a dead fucking language. Do you know why Latin's a dead language? Because all the Latins are dead, right? Rome is dead, man, right? We live in a world that is full of life, and these people that we keep fucking electing to be our fucking politicians are the most dead brain motherfuckers you've ever going to fucking find in your life. I posted in the chat of this conversation, they're having about. My mum brought me up to love every day to be cognizant that I can't know what another person has done in their life or lived through, so I shouldn't judge them from my perspective. And I've just had an argument with my mum and dad tonight, New Year's Eve. And they're telling me my mum hates Muslims, she hates fucking blacks, she hates Asians, you know what I mean? It's like, but she didn't used to. She didn't used to. When I was 17, my mum kept telling me that you've got to treat everybody the same. Now she's a hater of anything that's not like her. And I can only blame the media, the shite she watches on TV. I don't watch TV anymore, right? But she sits there watching TV all fucking day. And she's been brainwashed with all the fucking Fox News and all that bullshit. And now she's an intolerant fucking hater of anybody that doesn't look like her. They're all going to rape her or murder her or murder me or rape my sister. Or, it's like, well, I just don't get that. You know what I mean? I don't look at people and say they're black or brown or Asian or Muslim. I don't care, If I have to interact with them through the day because of my work or because of my, just my life, you get to know people as individuals, and you either get to like them because of their personality, if you get a chance to talk to them in that way and learn about them, and then you try to tell them a little bit about you, so you hope that they will understand you're not a fucking, MAGA fucking wanker. Or a fucking, some kind of Brit that wants to kick everybody who doesn't look like the country. It's, look, just live your life, man. Most of your life is integrated with these people anyway. Most of the shops I go to are run by Muslims or Hindus or brown or black people. I don't judge them by the colour of their skin or what religion I think they are. If they treat me well, God, I go to my shop and they're selling like whiskey. I buy a lot of whiskey, I buy a lot of bread. They don't give me money off of my bread, but they're selling like a bottle of whiskey, like this lovely bottle of whiskey, like 39 fucking 99. They sell that in the shop, 40 quid. They sell it to me for 36.99 because they know that I'm buying like 2 or 3 bottles a week. Not just for myself, but from my father, and I give it to people and stuff. So, there's another thing as well. I try to post fucking whiskey to my cousins in fucking Canada. I can't mail a bottle of whiskey to fucking Canada. fucking 20, well, maybe this year sometime I can do it, but fucking 2020. Oh, you know what, fucking male fucking bottles of liquor. Are you fucking I can't send a bottle of whiskey to. Oh no, but you can buy it in their country. They don't sell this shit over there. You know, this is like Scottish, real good fucking Scottish single malt whiskey. You can't get it over there. Well, I can't find it over there. I've tried on the internet. I can't. Anyway, like getting past that. Oh, this shit, man, that people hate each other. Well, I'll read you what I said, right? My mother educated me to love everyone, even those even though we were an atheist family, right? So it's good, not daily religion. She brought me up to love everybody. You know what I mean? Give everybody a chance. Don't say, oh, I don't like him because of how he looks. You know what I mean? It's like, we don't know. They could become one of your best friends. And a lot of people from different walks of life became some of my best friends. Nothing to do with religion or their colours, kind of. It was to do with the kind of person they were. I spent time with them. I sussed them out. They sussed me out. We were able to meet a meeting of minds kind of thing, right? Anyway, now she hates Arabs, Muslims, and blacks. And I'm like, well, how did that happen in the last fucking 30 years? Yeah, it's fucking the power of TV and the media to twist people's view of the world. It's become a poison. The way we're manipulated with this shit, you know. And it's becoming even worse because everybody's got one. Where's my fucking phone? So I've got a phone somewhere. I don't even know where it is. Oh, I'm fucking sitting on it. There we go. Right. These fucking things, right? Everybody's got one of these fucking things, right? And they all spend fucking most of their fucking time. They all spend most of their time fucking looking into the fucking shit. You know what I mean? Rather than lifting their heads and actually talking to fucking human beings. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's ridiculous. This shit. TVs. Internet. Twitter, for fuck's sake. People spend more time on Facebook and fucking Twitter than a day talking to their own fucking family. And this, I blame the deterioration my mum's and my dad's view of the world because I've not been there to disavow them of the fucking shite that they're watching on TV. I blame myself, you know. And it's hard now once they've got it in their mind that they hate these people because of everything that's happened in the last 20 years. Now I find it, I didn't spend any time with them because I was doing my own thing on the internet, playing games and enjoying myself. Didn't spend any time with my family. And this is what's happening in the fucking world, you know what I mean? We become twisted, poisoned by the shit that we fucking read and see on TV and read on fucking Twitter. We've become twisted. Anyway, I mean, our culture, over the past 15 years, I've watched my culture become just a poison. And it's poisoned by religion and politics. I don't give a fuck what end this is. Religion is not a boon to our society anymore. It's a poison. It poisons people. Politics is becoming a poison as well. Because it's become so intertwined with religion. We are becoming, you either hate theocracy or you love it, even if it's bad for you. Fuck me, look at America. What is American fucking politics done for the American people in the last fucking 30, 40 years? Nothing. It's never improved their welfare or their health or their fucking ability to earn money. No. It's robbed them of every penny it can and gave it to the billionaires and they use religion and politics to fucking argue the point of why it's got to be done that way. And people just accept it now. They just fucking accept this bullshit. Trickle down economics. You know, if you're religious, somehow you get special privileges. Because anything anybody says to you, that means they're persecuting you. But it doesn't matter if you're black, brown, fucking atheist, you know what I mean? None of that fucking matters. We don't care about how you've been persecuted. Oh, but if you say anything against a fucking white privileged fucking Christian, fuck me, you're going to get fucking pulled down. It's just bullshit, man. Religious and political ideologies, yeah, ridiculous, man. I mean, I'm 59, I've been watching this happen my whole life, and yeah, I didn't do much about it. I spent most of my life working hard, trying to fucking deal with my problems and put my money away, but I mean, god damn, I've come to know over the last 20 years now, there's no way for me to make my way in the world. Not when it's all controlled by these religious assholes and political assholes and fucking, you know, yeah, assholes. And then the epitome, you know what I mean? The pinnacle of fucking disaster. Donald Trump and Boris Johnson. And, yeah, Brexit and fucking build a wall. I mean, for fuck's sake, you know. Have we not had enough hate in the world? Is there ever going to be a time when there's not? We've had too much hate. Too much hate of anything. Apparently fucking not, man. So anyway, I came on to say, you know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, I mean, season's greetings, and a Happy New Year. I hope you can take this from where it comes from. It comes from my heart, you know. I just wish we could just stop trying to find reasons to hate people, our neighbours, the corner shop owner, the guy that delivers our mail, you know what I mean? It's like, please stop trying to find reasons to hate people. Try to find reasons to say, you're welcome, thank you very much for doing this service for, you know what I mean? I appreciate it. When you go into a store and buy something from someone, don't get upset because they don't have the fucking size that you want left. It's not their problem. They're just the sales assistant. It's some corporate fucking cunt who only sent fucking, you know, 30 fucking, 30 pieces of that size. And, you know, people came in and bought it. Now you're there. Now there's only fucking 12s and 36s. You know what I mean? Your size isn't there. You know, I get it all the time. I can't find a fucking size 8 fucking shoe in a shop. I can't fucking find a size 44 chest fucking, you know, shirt. I can't find size 8 fucking, you know, socks and you know, extra large pants. I can find extra large pants. I can't find extra large pants. It's medium, small, and fucking extra large. I'm like, well, where's my, no, you know, do you know what? I don't get upset about that. I just say, okay, I'll go somewhere else. You know, it's just, don't be shouting and bawling at the person in front of you. It's not there. They didn't stock the fucking shop. You know what I mean? They're just there to fucking take your money. I mean, give you a receipt for it. If you can find it in the shop. They didn't personally stock the fucking shop. Stop getting so angry about shit all the time. Stop being angry about everything and anything in the world. Calm the fuck down. Chill the fuck out. You know what I mean? We need to spend a little bit more time thinking about what if I was on the other side of the desk? What if I was the driver of the taxi? And things, somebody fucking crashed in front of us and you can't get past, you know what I mean? The cops fucking, an ambulance or, a fire engine stops in front of you, you've got to stop. Don't be sitting in the back of the taxi shouting, oh, fucking go around them. You can't fucking do that. There's laws and regulations you've got to be. You can't just do what you want because you think you're paying them. He's not a fucking slave, right? I think we're eventually getting to that point where we're doing away with slavery. We haven't done it yet, but we're fucking trying hard. Some of us. Others want to fucking just keep the fucking old shite going. Yeah, you can be angry at them, but don't be angry at yourself, or don't be angry at the guy behind the till, you know what I mean? Don't be angry at your fucking taxi driver, your bus driver. They're just doing a fucking job. Yeah, you're angry at what the company didn't do it, yeah. Go home and fucking write an email to the company. Don't fucking shout at the fucking driver. Because you're only shouting at your own brother, your sister, your sister's son, your own son, your own daughter. That's who you're shouting at. Yeah, you don't see them because they just won't like it. But if your son or daughter is doing any of those jobs, there's some other fucking wanker out there shouting at them. And your daughter and son will come in, I had a fucking horrible day. Some cunt come on, didn't like what was going on, started shouting at me. It's not my fucking problem. It's nothing to do with me. Yes, but remember, it's not always that person who's there in front of you's problem. They didn't cause it. They're just trying to do a fucking job. Sunday fucking van motherfuckers, Fuck me. Stop being so fucking mad with shit. Let's obviously a wee bit of this,
Wikipedia of some things that we have, and I'm going to ask you why, but completely tried to sort of like eliminate from our consciousness as a people, as a country, and let's just start with like why did you do this? Why did you write this?
I mean, that's a great question. I've been struggling with that for a little while. I grew up in the 1980s with Ronald Reagan as president of the United States. I grew up in this rural southern Indiana town where my religion and the fate of the United States of America were intertwined. Every Sunday we learned about the New World Order. We learned about liberals in the cities who were coming for us and all this. And that kind of felt like the past for me until 2016. I started, going into Trump rallies, talking to Trump supporters, and started to hear a lot of those old stories start to churn themselves out and start to, weirdly enough, become part of the political discourse that we had to deal with on a daily basis. And I realized that there was something about that and something about the story of America that I had learned, the history I had been taught, and sort of the narrative of what this country is or was, that was being used as a weapon by Trump and the people around him in the Republican Party. And I realized that I needed to relearn history. And the moment that I started, like from the very beginning, I realized that the story I'd been taught was completely false. And that's one of the reasons why we're in this terrible situation we're in right now.
I want to get to that point as to why we're in this terrible situation, like what that addresses. Whether it's that we have just naturally accrued essentially to Trump, or this situation where there is. I mean, there's two questions there. Is right? That's the first one, but that's maybe the second order question. The first order question is how is it that we develop these myths, but before and maintain them. But let's start with a couple of the bigger ones that you explore in the book. Let's start just, I guess, at the beginning with the founding of this country, and we could talk about the Constitution too. The idea of, I guess, there's a sense that maybe you could say it was entrepreneurial to write the Constitution. But tell us about that.
Yeah, the story that I always kind of got taught was,
God, I forgot to turn the fucking microphone on. I'll just talk there. Okay, right, so let's go back and see, right? Let's go back and see what they were saying, and then see if I can repeat it again.
We develop these myths, but before and maintain them.
Yeah, we develop these myths and maintain them. Okay, so the British Empire had fucking, we went out, we explored the world, conquered the world, and we put people in charge over, India, Australia, and stuff like that, South America, Canada. Now, some of these people were fantastic, people, management, organisation, and managing our overseas lands, right? Some of them were fucking terrible. They murdered and killed people, oh, you made me look a fool, I'm going to murder your whole village. Things like that. And then when Britain found out this, you've got to remember, back then, we didn't have fucking internet, so it could take months to find out that this cunt's murdering people. But then we would fucking send a ship and take months to get there, so it could be a whole, 2-3 years, this cunt doing fucking horrible things. But then we would say, you, motherfucker, you've got to come back to Britain, and we're going to send someone to replace you, because you're a fucking asshole, you're a dick. And, but we never actually, not very often, we didn't very often bring them home and chastise them and, put them in jail or cut the head off. That happened occasionally, but, most of the time they gave them their periods and stuck them in the House of Lords, and, they were there for life. A bit like your Supreme Court in America. It's like, what the fuck? But yeah, if Britain gets a really bad fucking, gets a really bad name, but you look at the British, empire, and the way we've reduced the empire by giving it back to countries, giving them their independence and stuff like that. Oh yeah, they fought back to get it, but we also, we could have sent armies there and fought, but we thought, the sort of the money we're going to get back, it's not worth it, right? So we give all these, but we have the British, what do you call not the British Empire anymore, but the Commonwealth. We've got the British Commonwealth. Countries who says you can have autonomy, you can be independent, but if you want to stay in a trading bloc with us and become part of the Commonwealth, and that's going to be good for both of us, it's a trading sort of bloc, America, what the fuck are you doing? Donald Trump, he's sanctioning fucking Canada, Mexico, one of the biggest. This is like Brexit. America's doing fucking build a wall against Mexico, and Britain's doing Brexit, and it's like, yeah, why? Because you've got fucking Trump, and we've got fucking Boris Johnson. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what's fucking going on. You've got fucking two idiots in charge of our country. Your country and my country. And, for fuck's sake, man. These people perhaps haven't read history. I know Boris Johnson has read history. He just doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand what it fucking means, Donald Trump, I don't believe, has read any fucking history. And therefore, yeah, he's got to get it because he's a fucking idiot. I don't think Boris Johnson is an idiot, he's just an ideologue. And I made some comments earlier about ideology. You can't be an ideologue, you've got to be willing to always adjust, learn, change, and progress. You don't get progress simply because it falls from the fucking sky. It takes hard work to progress. from one ideology to another, to change your ideology to a different ideology. It's difficult. And a lot of the ideologies that we have are basically educated into us because of the education system, the people in power at the time, what they were willing to let you read and understand. And sometimes you have to go to a library and read books about other things in order to, learn shit that you're not going to learn because of the crap fucking system you live under. We all live under crap systems. The whole point that I love about the American fucking idea is you're aiming towards what is it that it says in the Constitution? A more perfect union. Yeah, so you're trying to perfect yourself. That means you should be open to learning new things and changing your ideas in order to perfect yourself to become a better person and therefore influence people around you to think the same, to be changed and think of a more perfect idea rather than saying, well, this is the way we've always done it and we don't want to change, which is what you had with the North-South fucking war in America. No, this is good for us, we don't want to change. You know what I mean? They never tried industrialization because it didn't exist. So yes, we know more things. Science, progression, it takes us to a point where we can change the way we live because we understand there's a better way of doing it. Religion and ideology and politics stops us from growing, stops us from learning, stops us from changing to a better, as the Constitution says, more perfect union. And if you can't understand that, then I fucking don't know where your head's at. I understand that. British people understood that from fucking 500, 600 years ago. We've understood it. We've been building a better union in Britain without even having a constitution. You fuckers in America have got a constitution and you can't understand what it fucking tells you. You read it as, we never want to change. That's not what you've got to change to be more perfect. You've got to grow and learn new stuff and change to become more perfect. You can't stay the way it was back in 1776. You can't. You have to fucking progress and change it, and that means amendments, which you see loads of in your constitution. How can you understand that your constitution is a fantastic idea, but it fails when you fail to change it and progress to a more perfect union, which fucking states there, right there in your constitution? Fuck. Anyway, let's move on.
But let's start with a couple of the bigger ones that you explore in the book. Let's start just, I guess, at the beginning with the founding of this country, and we could talk about the Constitution too. The idea of, I guess, there's a sense that maybe you could say it was entrepreneurial to write the Constitution. But tell us about that.
Yeah, the story that I always kind of got taught was, the Declaration of Independence was on a Monday and the Constitution was on a Tuesday, and we were off to the races. But when you actually look at history, and you even go back to somebody like James Madison's notes on the Constitutional Convention, you find out first and foremost that they didn't have authorization to write a constitution. They went in and they were like, we're going to do this, and they were like, we don't have authority to do it, and they're like, we're doing it anyway. Let's do it live. And so what you end up seeing with this thing is a group of white, wealthy, mostly slaveholders get together. They decide to construct the Constitution to their own whims, to serve their own power needs. And they start telling everyone, they sell the ratification of the Constitution around this idea of America has been ordained for greatness, and this is about life, liberty, and equality for all. And, from the very beginning, it's a salesman job. It's just this total racket from the very beginning, and that story that sort of covers up, like you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously these people were living in a time where they understood the world around them, and they knew it was changing, but they didn't want to change with it. Some people thought, you know what, it is going to change, and I'm going to have to bow to the arc of history. And others says, you know what, I'm going to break that arc. I am not going to give in to it. I'm going to hold my ground and never change. Conservatives, I don't want to change. We should never change. That's conservatives. It's like you want to conserve what you've got. Liberalism, I don't know if liberalism has got anything to do with real politics, really. They're basically the wishy-washy conservatives, and then you've got, like, I suppose, Democrats, leftists, we call them socialist, communists, and that. No, these are free thinkers who think, how can we change society to make it more equal? Now that is a thing that I can get behind. Right?
The entrepreneur, I think that's one of the kindest ways that we can call it, right? Is this, what a lot of people have actually called it sometimes a coup. They've actually said they didn't have authority to do this. They did it. They created a government that served their own interest. And we're still sort of digging ourselves out from the decisions that were made inside of the Constitutional Convention then. And meanwhile, we have people like Donald Trump who are telling us, that it was perfect and these guys were perfect and they're to be held up as, flawless heroes. And I think this is, we now live in a reality where we're clashing over something that happened in the 18th century.
So, I mean, just in terms of just to say, was it when they got there and they said, like, we're gathering here, did they call it a constitutional convention? I mean, when did that? No, right? I mean, it was.
No, they went to Philadelphia to revise the Articles of Confederation. And, because you got to get there on horses, James Madison showed up early and he did some pre-work. And the people who started filtering in, they were like, as they came in, they were like, here's an idea. And they formed a coalition that you actually see them debate. Like you had people come in, like George Mason was like, we're not supposed to be doing this. And they're like, well, we're going to do it anyway. I mean, but yeah, it wasn't called the Constitutional Convention until years later when it was sort of covering up what had actually happened.
And I mean, I think the thing it makes clear is how much control you can have of the future by just setting the parameters in a very conscious and definitive way, right?
See, this is what I'm saying. I mean, when Britain had an empire that stretched across, God, basically the world, they say that Britain had an empire the sun never set on. That's because we owned lands all around the globe, and no matter what time of day, the sun would shine on land that Britain owned and considered it part of its empire. The thing is, we sent people out to govern, to administrate, you know what I mean? Governors. Like you've got, state governors. We sent people out across the world to govern places like India, many places in Africa, Malaysia, Australia, South America, Canada, we sent people all across the world to govern. And when they misgoverned, it could take months for us to hear back. And a lot back then, mail and stuff like that, and people, even people of importance, sending a letter, they would have to send it secretly through secret channels because the people in those areas who were in control would try to make sure that nobody was sending any bad messages back about them, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, there was all that. I mean, people could be in charge for years, running the place badly and not doing any good, but basically being corrupt and making millions, a month, you know what I mean? And only when they were caught, you know what I mean, after years of doing it, and enriching their whole families. This is why you've got the rich families you have in England. A lot of them were basically corrupt as fuck. But when we found out they were corrupt, we didn't bring them back and behead. Well, we beheaded a couple of them. We pilled a few of them, blacklisted some families. But most people, they just brought them back and gave them a peerage and, as I said, stuck them in the House of Lords. Get them out of the way, because the House of Lords has not got that much power. They are a deliberative body that gives advice to the Parliament, but they can't tell the Parliament what to do. So it's a safe place to put these people. And therefore, you could still look after your friends. You had to pull them back, so you can't run the empire like that. You're a masochist, murdering bastard. We'll bring you back to England and keep you here, where it's safe to have you. We'll send someone else out who might still be as corrupt as you, but they don't murder so many people. That was the problem with the British Empire. We did we sent too many murderers and thugs basically around the world, because we don't all have the same semblance of morality and understanding of humanity. You know what I mean? So, and this is the problem with your electorate in America. You still keep them on there for 30 years, even though they don't give a fuck about the American people. They only give a fuck about how much money they can make, which is why they're all millionaires now. It started off, they were, no, it didn't. They were all millionaires, but even back in the days of Washington, they were all millionaires. So we're basically dealing with corporatism today. Corporatism. Even the millionaires and billionaires in your Senate and House, right? They don't control shit. It's your corporations who tell them who's going to get money to get re-elected. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're going to spend 100 million. Which some of these guys are only 39 million millionaires. They get 39 million. It's going to cost 100 million to get elected. They can't do it on their own money anymore. They need the corporations to give them 100 million. So they get, a million for there, a million for there, 300. This is why they pander to the fucking corporations, and this is why corporations have got more political fucking punch than the actual politicians who are supposed to have political punch. Our political system today across the Western world is fucking retarded, fucked up, broken, and we can't fucking fix it unless we say no funds from outside fucking, shite cunts. You've got a 6 fucking week electoral fucking, before you get elected, 6 weeks like we do in Britain. But you're going to make it be even more strict, because so many politicians, the Conservative side over the last 20 years have all been caught for overspending, you know what I mean? And our electoral sort of commissions haven't done anything about fucking, finding them or doing it, you know what I mean? It's like bullshit. It's like, catching a corporation that spent, killed fucking, 30,000 people a year through cancer because of the chemicals they use to make their product. And they got a law passed through Parliament or through the Senate that says that they're not liable for that. And so these people are dying and dying, and it takes you years to get to the Supreme Court where they say it's unconstitutional, that law shouldn't apply. You know what I mean? It takes, and then you get these class lawsuits and shit. It's like your politicians, your government is supposed to protect you, not the corporate fucking bastards who poison you. And that's where we are. How are we going to fix our political system so that our politicians are not taking money from these fucking trillionaire bastards, poisoning you to death, and then saying it's fine because it's legal, right? It needs to be made illegal for these cunts to poison your water, poison your air. You know what I mean? Anyway, we'll move on.
Like you're setting this, you're laying down the track. It really, there's not a lot of options for where the train goes once that track has been laid down.
Yeah, something really weird that's happened in the past couple of years, and I've had these conversations with people where they're like, does it feel like reality's splintering a little bit? And what we're sort of coming to understand right now is that reality isn't reality. It's just sort of a story that the majority of people agree to and sort of act within. And so what you've seen with America in particular is a narrative and a story that has been created that people have either been forced to adhere to by violence or social intimidation or economic concerns, and it really hinders what people are able to do. And we see this now. It's like when people go out and they march in the name of equality, all of a sudden they're called socialists or revolutionaries, or they're called traitors, and you start navigating the reality of politics through this very, very narrow lens and that track that you're talking about. And if you even vary off of it even a little bit, you're sort of out of the discourse, and it makes reform and progress almost impossible to happen throughout that little track.
Let's talk about, and I want to get to the sort of that meta question of how that track is reinforced.
I'm just going to pause it there to give you an example of this, right? Cocaine, right? So cocaine is illegal in America, and crack cocaine, which is like a cheap version of cocaine, you can get 20 years for a tiny little fucking piece of fucking, crack cocaine, especially if you're black. But if you're a white, sort of like TV fucking executive, and you're caught with an ounce of powder cocaine, basically you pay a fine, couple of weeks fucking, working in the community, and that's it. You don't even go to jail. You get caught with a fucking small fucking crack cocaine cube, bang, you know what I mean? You can go to jail for life if it's the third time, and we all know that crack cocaine is fucking addictive. So if you're caught the first time for smoking it, you're probably going to be smoking it next week. So they're probably going to catch you again if the police concentrate on where you live and look for you. Oh, there he is. Let's catch him. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then they get like a mark. Oh, we caught a drug dealer. We caught a drug user. It goes through. So you go through court 2 3 times, and then you're in jail for life for a tiny little bit of fucking shit. You're going to smoke that you need to smoke every day because you're addicted. Whereas, big businessmen and Donald Trump's son, for instance, I think they're going to do him for cocaine. Even if they caught him with an ounce in his fucking car, he's probably going to squirm out of it. You know what I mean? This is what we're saying when people like this guy and, these people and me talk about it. Not only is America's social structure fucked, or your political structure fucked, your judicial fucking system is fucked. So is mine. My country's. If I get caught with a joint, you know what I mean? I'm not getting fucking it's just give me the joint, we'll let you go. I'm going to court for a joint. I'm going to court I've been to court for fucking, residue. Tiny. Have you ever picked up a sweetie with fucking, powdered sugar on the outside of it, and you eat the sweetie, and you've got powder on your fingers? I could get done for that if it was cocaine powder. I could get done for that if it's cannabis powder. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I could do in the 70s, and I don't really know, because I haven't really been involved with the police, so I don't know how they treat it now. But that's how bad it is. And it's how bad it is for black people in America. A white guy in America, we didn't see it. Black guy, they'd be fucking dabbing the whole fucking area and think, oh, we found traces, yeah. You know what I mean? And that's the fucking thing, you're supposedly every man is equal, justice is blind, it doesn't work that way in America. No, it hasn't done for fucking 2.5 centuries, the length of your fucking existence.
I guess, and repaired through the years. But there's a couple of things that just stood out for me, like the mound builder. I had never heard of that. Tell us about that myth. Because just to be clear, you're talking about these basically these social constructs that at different points in our history that become lore and affect our behavior and our perception of reality. So just tell us about the mound builder.
Yeah, we like to look at this modern moment and we're like, where are all these conspiracy theories coming from and what are they about? And has everybody lost their mind? But you actually go through American history and some of the major moments, particularly the places where America has done its absolute worst things, are based around conspiracy theories and just bizarre thoughts. In the 19th century, as Manifest Destiny starts sort of coming into fruition and popularity, this idea of the mound builders, there are just these structures around North America that are like really kind of incredible. And they were created by Native Americans. But of course, during a time of white supremacy, it wasn't believed that, natives could possibly do this. So it becomes a very popular thing in America to believe that there was a prior Caucasian race on the continent before the Native Americans, and that obviously Native Americans slaughtered those people. So whatever we do to them, whether it's genocide or, moving them, wherever we want for our own political and economic.
Yeah, I've heard of one of these crazy fucking ideas is they were Jews. There was a 13th or 14th fucking tribe of Jews that lived in America, and the Indians murdered them and they built the mounds. That's like saying there was Americans in Europe, 10,000, 14,000 years ago who built Stonehenge, and then we murdered them. The British murdered them, and and then that's why we've got Stonehenge. They don't want the British. It's not a British thing. It was American Jews that built the Stonehenge, and the British murdered them because we hate Jews. That's the same, the mound fucking thing he's talking about, you know what I mean? It's just fucking stupid. It's as stupid as saying aliens built the fucking pyramids. I'm just saying, right?
Purposes, that's justified, right? Because you're just acting within the paradigm of revenge or trying to set things straight, which of course, leads into this modern quandary of things like QAnon, the deep state, all of these conspiracy theories that sort of affect our discourse.
What happened to that? That was obviously, this was that was, like you say, a mechanism to justify our behavior at a time where we were slaughtering,
Before he goes on and asks, right, I don't know what he's going to say, but I'm pretty sure this is religious ideology. This is political ideology. If it's an ideology, people find themselves in a group where if you don't agree, you're ostracized or you don't get on. So in order to get on, you find out what other people think they believe, and then you say you believe it too. Even if you don't believe it, you will say that you believe it too. So you fit It's part of human psychology. It's part of how our brains work. Pattern recognition, identifiable cultural norms. It's one of these things that we do as human beings, you know. But let's see how we go here.
Tribes of, I mean, literally wiping them out, genocide of tribes of indigenous people. When did that I guess that conspiracy theory, or that story essentially that we were telling ourselves at that time to justify our actions, when did that go away? Did it just become unimportant for us to use? Like what happened to it?
Yeah, they sort of serve their purpose to start a movement or to start an action. And then eventually, what ends up happening is that a larger movement sort of takes its place. Like a lot of these movements always have like a knife in the back conspiracy theory, of course, some kind of betrayal, I don't know, a stolen election,
Right.
that sort of starts up these movements. And then eventually, the movement gathers up a momentum all of its own and sort of leaves behind the contrived conspiracy theories. So eventually you have settlers moving west, you have manifest destiny, you start having like all of the, you have wars with Mexico, and all of a sudden that old idea just sort of gets sort of dissolved and moves away and disappears and makes way for the movement itself.
Oh, I feel like I mean I can't access them right now, but I feel like we have a whole host of those things just reaching back through the Tea Party, and certain things are ejected and they're replaced by things that are maybe more palatable to a wider group of people. But the core of, it's almost like the emotion remains. The details get a little bit hazy. I mean, I was reminded, I mean, through that in particular reminded me, and I've referenced this book many times. We did this back in 2018, was a book about mesmerism in this country, and the sort of somewhat unique to our national psyche, this desire to embrace snake oil salesmen and their wares, even with an awareness that it's not true. And so
Hey, it's me, Sam B. As you know, our one was Whitefish Energy, a company of two based in a cabin. Entirely the wrong part of the government.
Unfortunately, since 2000, there's been a but we're
sold them the bombs. The problem is because they've never used them before, they're really bad.
Sorry, forgot to turn my microphone on. Okay, so you heard what he said. I'm sure you heard what he said, but then I stopped him and then I forgot to fucking turn on my mic. I think what this guy up here, I don't know what his name is. Anyway, the guy that does the Majority Report thing. Right, he was talking about how there's this theme, this idea in society where we believe a thing and it's, we think it's true and it's not true. Anyway, so Samantha Bee does a thing about women's health, right? And for the last 180 years or something, women have been basically when they go to a doctor and say, "Oh, I've got a burning sensation in my crotch" or whatever, they turn and say, "Oh, you're probably just sort of like, no, I'm talking about like 800 years, 1,000 years ago. You've probably just been invaded by a minor demon, and we'll cast it out by fingering you and waving smoke and chanting and praying." that was basically it. And over the last sort of 200 years, we've done nothing about helping women with their medical problems, apart from giving them the pill. That's what Samantha Bee was saying. Yeah, the pill for everything. Yeah, we've got like 300 different pills to help a man get a boner, but we haven't got a single. But I mean, for instance, I think it's America spends 10 million, was it 10 million pound a year on investigating diabetes, but they spend £1 million a year on women's problems. Why their crotch burns at certain times of the year, and makes them feel like they want to cut their throat because the pain's so bad. You would think 52%, 51% of the population of America is female. You would think that pharmaceutical companies would be thinking, you know what, we could make a lot of money out of solving this problem, and yet they don't spend any money investigating it, but they spend millions finding a pill to get a man a boner. It's quite, I kind of feel that, I'm a man, right? I get a boner anyway, but I know that eventually I'm going to get too old to get a boner. And some people lose a boner when they're younger. Well, yeah, okay. You're 30, you can't get it up. It might be some physiological thing, but it could be psychological. Maybe you can't get it up because your uncle fucking tampered with you when you were 12, and it's some kind of mental block fucking thing you've got. If we don't experiment in those areas, how the fuck are we going to fix things? You can't. There's no reason to think a pill fixes everything, but there is reasons to think that a pill does fix some things. But why are we not working on pills for women to fix their problems? But we've worked so hard on fixing man's one problem, not getting a hard on. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I'm with Samantha Bee. We need to spend a bit more time fucking looking at what the fuck we're spending our money on, and why it all seems to be male orientated. I mean, I'm a man, but I mean, fuck. I've got fucking sisters. I've got a mother. I want her to fucking have the best healthcare. I'm just saying, fuck me, man. Stop being so fucking selfish, you male fucking doctor motherfuckers. Experiment and fucking find out what's going on and help them, you know what I mean? The pill isn't the answer to fucking everything. Although that's what we've thought for the last fucking, 80 years or some fucking thing. Before that, we fingered them, and in fact, doctors invented the fucking vibrator because they were tired. The fingers got tired. The fingers got tired stimulating women, so they invented the vibrator. Doctors invented the vibrator because they were tired fingering women. Can you imagine that? what kind of, I think I was in the Victorian age, but what kind of world do we live in where, we got sick of fingering women, so invented the vibrator, and they said, well, that's it. You got the vibrator or the pill, or we'll burn you at the stake, because that used to be, 600-700 years ago, we used to burn women at the stake for having, some of the problems that women have with the vagina. Can you imagine that? It's quite, well, we can finger you or burn you at the stake. That's your choice, you know what I mean? What? Yeah, just finger me. Oh my God. It's like, and I'm not fucking joking. That is the level of fucking medical science we're at with fucking women's health. If they can get fucking healthcare in America, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? What the fuck?
Politics. It's all symbolism, right? It's the idea that there's nothing wrong with America that America can't fix, that inherently we're good people, we just do wrong things occasionally. And you have somebody like Lincoln who actually becomes like a martyr, a messiah for the country. And this is a weird thing. After he's assassinated, he starts showing up on all these prints next to Jesus Christ, or George Washington is reaching down from heaven to him. And it's sort of like, the Father and the Son and the Holy Trinity, along with patriotism. But what actually gets lost in this whole thing is that Lincoln, early in his career, constantly talks about white supremacy, and then eventually tries to convince freed slaves to leave America. He tries to create these programs where they'll leave America so he can create a white ethno-state so that they can, go to some colony or some other country of their own. And while that, doesn't take away from emancipation, the real picture of what happened, both with the Civil War and Lincoln, and eventually the Reconstruction, which, by the way, is almost paved over completely in our histories.
Totally.
What you end up finding is that basically we treat the Civil War as if it solved everything, right? It got rid of racism. It took care of white supremacy. And we're just going to move forward now and start the business of, accumulating wealth and power. And eventually, if you don't deal with these problems, as we've seen, they just get worse and worse. And eventually the denial of those problems turns into their own dangerous movement all of their own.
Let's talk about that, those two things that you brought up at the beginning, the notion of religion and having grown up in a rural area. I particularly in the context of QAnon, but just broadly speaking, from my perspective, religion has created a mental framework for a lot of what maintains these mythical constructs, and also just simply the way that and also like the conspiracies. I mean, QAnon, you change out some of the sort of like the nouns that they're talking.
Okay, I can't remember this guy's name, but yeah. The religion didn't create or hold on in America. It's Americans that held on. It wasn't created in America, the ideas that we're talking about here, but it's definitely been forced to be held on as like a culture in America where these people are different from us and should be treated different. We didn't have it in Britain until the Second World War, when a lot of Americans came to Britain. Well, it existed here, but it wasn't predominant. But we now have it as probably 28% of our society, and probably about 20% in my society here in Scotland are racist. And I'm not just talking about white people. Chinese and Muslims are racist against white people and Chinese people. Muslims are racist against Chinese people. Chinese are racist against Muslims and white people. White people are racist against Muslims and Chinese people. But it wasn't like that when we had an empire. When people were coming, we just accepted them as part of our culture, the part of the world that we ruled and controlled, and they might have been treated badly by some people, but most people looked at them as just, yeah, come here, work, you're a fisherman, you're a sailor, you come on a ship, you go out with me on a ship, we work together, you can do your job, we're happy with you, you know what I mean? See, this is the thing a lot of people don't realise. Back in the day when everybody fucking had to work a hard fucking job, the worst thing you can have is a lazy bastard working with when you didn't have his fucking work. When you worked with somebody, it didn't matter the colour of your skin or his nationality even. If he did his fucking job and you didn't have to chip in to fucking cover for it, yeah, it was like, yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He knows his job. He does his job. I don't have to fucking tell him or fill in for him. That was good. Nowadays we're all filling in for fucking somebody. What the fuck is a fill in day? You know what I mean? I got to fill in for my fucking boss because he couldn't fucking ask to come in and fucking do his work. I got to fill in for Jeffrey because Jeffrey's the fucking boss's nephew and he doesn't come in on a fucking Friday. Really? But this is the whole fucking shite, man, What is this filling in for somebody else? It's no part of my job. I've got to do my job and fucking his as well. What the fuck? And this is the thing that I've seen, I'm 59. I've seen that shit start in the 70s and 80s. Filling in for fucking bosses, fucking nephews and shit, you know what I mean? I suppose it's been a thing that's been around since fucking, the end of fucking time, or the beginning of time, But you know what I mean? It's like, you can't get away with that shit when you're on a fucking ship in the middle of the fucking ocean. You can get away with it in a building site here on land. You can't get away with it in a fucking ship in the ocean. There's only fucking I don't know, 128 people on a fucking ship sailing to fucking Australia. Everybody's got to do their job or something fucks up, you know what I mean? And that's, back then they were much harder, much harsher on people being wankers. Look at the state of America. Trump, your president, hasn't done a presidential job. He put Kushner in fucking charge of almost fucking everything America does. He's done a fucking piss poor job. And then he's got his fucking daughter swanking about fucking saying she's trying to keep him on track while making millions out of fucking China. And then they'll turn around and say that Biden's made millions out of China. Really? Bit of projection there maybe. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is going on in America? No, we fucking hate our politicians, but we fucking hate your politicians more. Do you know why? Yes, because we gave our empire up. Either because we wanted to or because we were forced to. After a certain war, it doesn't matter, right? America became supposedly the predominant fucking white on a fucking hill kind of, democracy. And yet you just go around doing fucking worse things than fucking the British Empire ever fucking did. What the fuck is going on there, man? What the fuck is going on? And then you sit back and say, we're number fucking one. Number one assholes, yes. We all fucking understand it, it's never been so bad until now. These last 4 years around the world have been fucking horrific. For all the democratic countries in the world trying to spread democracy, and that's your whole stick, America. For spreading no, you're not spreading democracy. Not under Trump, you haven't. Oh my fucking God. Get your shit in order, for fuck's sake. That's all we're fucking saying in Europe, Get your shit in order and get back into the fucking party, you know what I mean? We don't have a party here. It's a hard party, you know what I mean? Oh my God, there's a lot of shit we've got to deal with. The balloons are fucking deflated. The cake's fucking rancid. Got to replace that. Yeah, America, you used to be one of the people the one that's saying, yeah, we'll chip in. Now it's like, no, we're not chipping in, fuck all. Really? And now you're helping out fucking Russia, the cunt who made the cake fucking rancid. You came out and pissed in our cake, and now you're saying, oh, that's fine. I'm sorry, America. You fucking got to sort of shit out. Get rid of fucking Trump. I don't think Biden's a good idea now, but you know, fuck. Better, you know, the devil you fucking know. Anyway, let's go on, man.
Talking about and the players, and it sounds like a, you know, sort of a biblical story on some level. Some guy you can't see who sends us messages, tells us what's going to happen and it's going to work out, and there's a plan. Always trust in the plan. I mean, this is all like religious construct.
Oh, it's all about faith, which I think is one thing everybody gets wrong about Trump and the current Trumpist movement is, you know, it's like he talks about building a wall. He was never going to build a wall. The wall was always an article of faith. It was always something that was not going to get built, but it existed in their hearts, Sam. You know, the real wall was in their hearts. And what you actually find is that, and I have a lot of relatives. I have a lot of people I grew
That's
up
a lovely
with.
sentiment. Let's all
Isn't it, though?
all in our hearts.
I know,
Load
it's
our
just, it's a
hearts.
real faith. And so I have a lot of people I grew up with, a lot of family members who totally believe in this stuff. And they've been radicalized towards white supremacy. They've been radicalized into QAnon, all of this stuff. And it's the exact same idea, which is, yeah, you do not have power. You can't actually change anything through politics, but do not worry. Somebody somewhere is taking care of you. There's a plan. It's been written in a book. All you have to do is have faith. And you know, it is absolutely a religious style of politics, and it's run through and through with all of the articles and tenets of the faith that these people have grown up with. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, and it's fascinating too, because I mean, you talk about the 80s where that is right in the wake of this really conscious marriage of religious fundamentalism and the Republican Party that was orchestrated by guys like Paul Weyrich and Falwell, and centered largely around, I mean, they used abortion, but we know that it was really, in many respects, a function of Jimmy Carter saying, hey, you're not going to get religious, you're not going to get IRS tax relief if you're running a school that won't allow for Black people to attend. And that was sort of like the clarion call. And so, like, how did they make that move from that perspective of like somebody else to take care of it? It'll be God's will. I mean, because we're seeing this like with COVID, right? Like a lot of the major outbreaks that we have in New York State are a function of fundamentalist religious groups.
I'm just going to step in and say, there was an American pastor who didn't believe in wearing masks, didn't believe that, you know, he should shut his church down. He thought it was anti-religious and people attacking the you know, Protestant religion in America. And then he caught COVID and took it home and infected his mum and dad and his sister. And his sister infected her family, and his mum and dad died. And he's still saying like, well, yeah, I feel bad, you know, but then, you know, maybe God wanted him. This is what I'm saying. God, what? If you just wore a fucking mask and didn't have fucking church fucking meetings for 300 people, all your parents could be fucking alive today. And these people still say, I don't believe that. It was God's will. It wasn't God's will. A fucking infection doesn't care about God. You can't pray away fucking infection. You can't pray away fucking cancer. You can't pray away a fucking amputated limb. You know what I mean? What the fuck? Where is all these fucking people growing back limbs and bringing people back from the dead? I mean, apart from this is what Jesus said. If you have enough faith, you can do what I did, and Jesus brought people back from the dead. Apparently, he fucking made blind people see. Don't remember him growing an arm back, but I mean, it shouldn't be much if you can make a blind person who's been blind all their life see, or bring a dead person back from the fucking dead to back in living. I don't think I'm growing an extra fucking finger that got chopped off, you know what I mean, in a buzzsaw. You know, or, you know, lost an arm to a bear, you know what I mean? You couldn't grow it back by laying on its hands. I don't hear any of these fucking stories, you know what I mean? So, where's all the miracles? What the fuck? Yeah, I mean, this is just ridiculous. We are in a shit fucking storm right now. And these people still think they're crappy fucking. Well, if I just go in a cupboard and pray to God and ask him for help, he's going to listen to me. And then you say, well, you know, all these people still died. I guess God wasn't what. He only answers prayers he wants to. God moves in mysterious ways. Yeah, or it could just be that it's all shite. You know what I mean? God moves in the ways of an imaginary God. You know what I mean? I mean, just if I pray to Thor, if I believe in Thor and pray to Thor, is Thor going to fucking save me from COVID? He saves me from COVID the same amount of times that God, the Christian God, Jesus, saves me. So, yeah. The only thing to do is wear a mask, stay indoors, don't meet too many people, try and cut down all your fucking interactions, even from your family, because you could get it and spread it to them, they could get it and spread it to you, you don't know. So, like, you know, calm the fuck down, people. Keep lots of fucking gel and wash your hands a lot, you know, fucking wear a mask a lot. Fuck. Anyway.
See them. But in other parts of the country, there is this quality of like, this is in God's hands. Why does a pandemic get to be in God's hands, but everything else from society, were they able to migrate into, you know, where it was once, leave unto Caesar that which is Caesar's? They all of a sudden said like, well, we'll leave it unto Caesar except for this stuff. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so I grew up in that church, and I had no idea that what I was actually growing up in was the faith of the Confederacy. I mean, you know, what Falwell has always preached, and what his the people around him has always preached, is this idea that God is a racist God. It's a white supremacist God. And eventually what ends up happening in the 1960s and the 1970s eventually is you actually see a lot of social justice starts relying on Christian principles, because Christianity in text is a social justice religion, right? You take care of the poor, you treat people well. And what you end up seeing is the neo-Confederate Falwell wing starts actually
Okay, I just showed you there. So I've got in 1955, you added "In God We Trust" to your money for the first time, but you became independent 1976, right? 1976. So 76 and 4 is 80, 24 years takes you up to 1800. And then it was 124 years. And 50, 174 years, and 5, 174, 179, 179 years. So it took America 179 years to add God, "In God We Trust" to their money. 179 years. So, do you think you're a country, Jesus and God, and acclaimed Jesus to be the fantastic? Anyway, yeah, okay.
Prioritizing wealth and power, which, by the way, are denotations and markers of white supremacy in the first place. So that ends up creating, what we now call the prosperity gospel, the idea that if you have wealth and if you have power, God ordained it. And so eventually that merges, of course, with Reaganism, which is all about there's no racism anymore, there's no sexism anymore. If you can't get ahead, that's your fault. And eventually that religious flavor comes in, which is if you
I don't think that there's no racism anymore. I think that came in when Obama got elected, 2008, I think it was. That's when we've had a black president, so America's not racist anymore.
you have wealth, God has crowned you with it. And one of the things that we haven't actually talked about very much in this culture is no, Donald Trump is not religious, but he was raised up in like prosperity gospel. The idea that if you work hard enough or if you envision it and if you think hard enough about it, you will be okay. And now that has sort of trickled down into culture. And I'm seeing people who think that not only is COVID a plague from God, but it's actually a judgment on Americans who can't afford healthcare, who can't afford insurance. And it's their fault that they can't get the help that they actually need, which, again, it's these narratives that end up preventing any sort of progress or, basic human decency in the end of it.
I mean,
Forgot to fucking turn my mic. Okay, right. So what he's saying is, people who can't afford healthcare, it's their fault. They didn't work hard enough to earn the money to pay for, their healthcare. But then that's just what he's saying, that when your kid gets cancer and dies of cancer, even if you've got healthcare, you didn't pray hard enough for God to make your healthcare work. For your kid, your cancer kid. Whereas I live in a society that says that we know enough about science, where we can treat people for cancer. We can't cure it yet, but we can cure some cancers. We can't cure all of them. But we in Britain treat everybody. Anybody who's got cancer goes and gets cancer treatment. Yes, if you're a billionaire, you can probably pay a private surgery somewhere for a specialist doctor to come and help. But you know what? Even people who go through that, who pay for that private fucking surgery, you know that, they often die too. Billionaires and millionaires get cancers which are not redeemable, that don't respond to treatment that we have today, and they still die. Depends on how harsh or, you know, how strong or how virulent your cancer is. So the whole thing about medicine is, we know that some people will respond to treatment and some people won't. And even millionaires don't respond to treatment. And yet, the poorest person in the world, if they get the treatment the millionaires getting, they respond and live. So that's why social medicine works, because it's not about you deserve treatment. It's about, we're going to give everybody who's ill that treatment, and some people, you know, recover and some people don't. And it doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. It's more to do with your genetics, how virulent the disease is. You know, it's more to do with that than how much money you've got in the bank. It depends on your genetics. It depends on how early we find it. It depends on the treatment you get. Now, if everybody can be found early, which is why in Britain we spend a lot of money on preventative medicine. You go and see a doctor and you say, oh, I've got a pain here. You know, they don't just say to you, oh, it's fine. Yeah, your mother used to have that as well, and she lived till her 80s. She's got home, you know. So, no, what we do in Britain is, oh, you've got a pain, and you're that. Do you have this feeling? Do you get itching? Do you get any, you know, raising of swelling of the, you know, the skin? Oh, okay, so that could be that. We're going to send you for a you know, CTI, whatever you call it, you know, some X-rays. Got to take some blood tests off you, and we do preventative medicine. We think, well, this might be what you've got, but we don't know. But we check it out. You know, all your tests are clear. You've not got what I thought it was, but it's probably just that. You know, here's some histamine, you know, antihistamine, you know, that should clear it up. You might have to come back to me when the course is finished and see whether it's still continuing or whether it was just something you came in contact with. You know, this is what British medicine does. We don't just say, oh, it's the worst case scenario. We test everything. You know what I mean? And the thing is, in Britain, we get it for free. Okay, we might wait 14 weeks, 2 months for a, you know, appointment to see a radiologist and stuff like that. But the thing is, I mean, yeah, if everybody could just see a radiologist, you know, like that when they needed it, that'd be fine. But even if you're a billionaire and you go and see a radiologist about some cyst or some ache or some pain you've got, and they say it's a bulimic fucking, you know, cancer cell, and it's running rampant, and there's nothing we can do. And so it doesn't matter how much money you've got, you're still going to fucking die of cancer. We can't cure every fucking cancer. We can tell you've got it. We can't fucking cure it. And it doesn't fucking matter. So why don't we give everybody the opportunity to be tested for cancers and diabetes? And, you know what I mean? Why isn't it fucking free at the point of need? This is the most important thing in Britain. The point of need. I need healthcare now. I go and see a doctor, I get it. Whereas in America, people need healthcare and they can't get it because they've got no insurance. What am I, a fucking car? A fucking TV, a washing machine? Buy 2 years extra fucking insurance on my fucking TV or washing machine, but I can't fucking see a doctor because I don't have health insurance. Are you fucking kidding me? What kind of fucking society are you, America? You're worse than the fucking Nazis, for fuck's sake. Even they gave every fucking German citizen healthcare. Yes, the Nazis, every German citizen got healthcare. Until Hitler got in control and says only fucking true virgin Nazis and the Jews and the Poles didn't get it. But you know, that's what fucking Donald Trump. He doesn't want to give Mexicans or Muslims healthcare, you know what I mean? Well, any fucking American can get it, so they're not Muslims or fucking blacks or, you know what I mean? Yeah. Mexicans, oh, we don't want to give them Muzzies, don't give them Muzzies or the Mexicans or the blacks healthcare, but all you is white supremacists, motherfucker. Yeah, you get free health fucking care. What the fuck is going on in America? What's happened to you? How could you become what the Western nations who fought in the Second World War hate? Fucking Nazis, man. How could you become that and think it's fine? It's okay. Oh, but, well, we didn't know there was going to be so many of them, right? We didn't know there were going to be fucking so many of you fucking nutters. Fucking still give you fucking healthcare. What the fuck? Let's move on.
I mean, that construct is a perfect explanation of the Republican Party over at least the last 20 or 30 years. I mean, we talked about this in the run-up of the 2016 election many times, saying that, you know, Donald Trump is going to get on that stage. And because the entire Republican mantra has been your wealth is a function of your moral righteousness, he's going to get on stage and he's going to just look around to everybody on there. It's like, I don't care what you say. I'm a billionaire. And that means that what I say, no pun intended, trumps what you say. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, we heard from the Republicans, we want a CEO president for years. That's how George Bush was ushered in. We had those stories from Paul Ryan where he talks about, like, you know, the kid doesn't want to bring the brown, you know, wants to bring a brown bag from lunch. He doesn't want to get a free lunch, even if it means starving, because that's where his dignity lies. This was all, this stuff mutated and became one strain. On some level, it's always been floating around out there in America, hasn't it? But it's never been so co-opted by one party.
Yeah, you know this as well. The Republican Party has been playing a dangerous game for decades now. They've been appealing to white supremacists, they've been appealing to cultural anger and cultural rage, while meanwhile pushing for, you know, the empowerment and the enrichment of wealthy, powerful elites. And eventually, and I'm glad that you brought up the Tea Party and how it was eventually sort of absorbed and redirected. Eventually, you have the Republican Party sort of merges with its more paranoid wing that they sort of kept in a closet for a very long time, right? They managed to sort of give it a little bit of room, but they didn't give it much space. And eventually, of course, Donald Trump shows up, and you know, I've been laughing along with you with how he has just been absolutely bullying, you know, Loeffler and Perdue. And you know, they come on, and you know, you have Perdue coming out in like a jean jacket, you have Loeffler holding a semi-automatic weapon. They don't mean it, they don't actually believe any of this. And Donald Trump took control of the party by saying these people are phonies, they don't actually mean it. He sort of pulled the curtain back. And I think everybody said, absolutely, let's go with this. This is the new sort of narrative and focus of the party that is now going to take over. And all of these underlying elements that had control of the party for the longest time but didn't have total control have now merged with him. It's a very bizarre mutation that's taken place.
I find this incredibly childish. Right? I remember when I was like probably 10, 11 year old, and going swimming with, like, I don't know, but probably eight or nine guys. We went swimming during a local sort of small stream, right? And I've got to admit, like, I used to hang about with a lot of Catholics, right? And this guy, John, no, what was his name? John. God, I can't remember. Well, let's not expose it, but after swimming for like an hour or two, we came out, we all were resting, but getting out of the sun, because the sun was like, you know, it was midday, and it was like, you going to get burnt. Even swimming, just swimming in the water, it magnifies it, you get burnt, right? And then we were just sitting about talking about shit, you know. We were all about, you know, I mean, I think I was about 9 or 10 or something like that. I could have been 12, right? And some of the boys were like, you know, 13. No, I think I was about 9. Some boys were like 12, 13. But John Pitt came out with this, let's all fucking have a wank and see who's got the most spunk. And I was like, to be honest with you, I'm not into that. And this is a Catholic boy, right? And I was like, I mean, at that time I wasn't thinking about gay or anything like that. I was like just, I didn't think that wanking in front of my mates that I played with was a good thing to do. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. And then I was trying to be bullied to join in, and I was like, no, I'm not fucking doing it. Simple as that. Usually like fucking talking about in wank circle chat. I mean, I didn't say it. I just said, no, I'm not doing it. And I left, right? But they were a lot of the people that, you know, the boys there, all decided they were all going to wank and fucking see who could spunk them. I was like, I mean, I don't think it was a gay. I don't know. I don't think it was a gay thing. I think it's just, I don't know, a masculine fucking, you know, who can pee the highest kind of thing. I just don't know. But at that time in my life, I just wasn't interested. Well, even any time in my life, I wasn't interested in fucking having a wank off against other people and see who could shoot the mess spunk. I mean, what would it gain you? But you know, it's a vision I remember from my childhood. It's a thing that happened, and I was like, no, I didn't dislike Catholics because of that. I disliked fucking, what was his fucking name? It wasn't John Pitt. It was. Well, let's not go into his name. I know he used to love at the back for me, fucking Catholic. I never liked cunts like that after that. The people that no, there was I think there's 2 of the guys with me who says, nah, we're just going to go home. But there was like, I think it was 8 or 9 is there. And like, so there's 5 or 6 people who fucking just decided to stay and do that wank off, like. And I was like, again, by the way, none of them were Protestant, but I still didn't hate Catholics. I thought John Pitt had too much control over other people in his circle, because he knew they all went to fucking, you know, chapel together and all that. So it was kind of, yeah. So it was ideology and under. I don't know if they, because I mean this was bang when. This would have been back in fucking 1972 or 73 or something. Fucking, yeah. Maybe 1970. No. I must have been 10 or 12, 10 or 12. No, I wasn't sent to school yet. He was my brother's, my older brother, so he would be 2 or 3 years older than me, so yeah, so it was about 1972 or something. 1970 maybe, you know, but yeah. It's hard to really pin things. But anyway, the craziest about it is he was always a fucking weirdo. All my life I knew him as a fucking weirdo, and that's the kind of weird shit he used to come up with, like. And this is the thing about, you know, people having strange and weird ideas, buying into those strange and weird ideas, religious, politics, whatever, you know what I mean? I think this is what they were talking about. How can these people have these thoughts and not understand they are not the norm, and then convince other people through all the shit that they fucking propagate, all the crap they put on fucking the internet and Fox TV and all that, convince you that it's normal. It's like, oh, these fucking people, man.
Isn't there also, though, a question of like sort of empowering these people? Because, you know, and this again goes back to that Emily Ogden book on mesmerism, that Trump is up there going, he's saying they're liars, these establishment figures. Now, I'm a liar too, except for I'm letting you in. You're on my side. I am deploying the lies on your benefit. And so I'm a liar and I'm admitting it to you. And therefore, like, we're on a team together. And that is empowering to people, I think, who have this sense that, that they don't have control. I mean, that's sort of the paradox, right? Like, they're both, like, the idea is both to give up control and the sense that they have no control, or they have no one to trust with that control that they've given up.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the reasons QAnon is taken off the way that it is it's like...
As I was saying, you know, you get a person who people look up to, or he's older or whatever, and then people follow him and do what he fucking says. Let's do this, and they just do it. And people like me are saying, fucking, within my being, I'm saying, fucking no, this just seems fucking wrong, and I'm out of here. You know what I mean? How does fucking 50%, you know, 48% of Americans want to fucking wank themselves off and see how much spunk they'll go? Because that's what's happening with Trump. All these Republicans are all saying, yeah, you know what, I'm willing to just, you know, wank in front of you and see if my spunk's bigger than yours. And it's like, that's what they're doing. And they don't give a fuck what you think about it. They're now becoming blatantly obvious and coming out saying, you know what, I know everything's been proved that I say is wrong. I know that trickle-down economics doesn't work. I know that the fucking president should have signed this bill, but you know what, I'm going to support him. I know that it's not nice to grab women by the fanny, but I'm going to ignore that and say he's still a nice guy. It's like, what the fuck? How the fuck can you see any of this as being fucking normal? My God, you had the opportunity to get rid of this fucking... what's the fucking Roman motherfucker Caligula, right? Oh my God, right? Fucking Caligula, right? Caligula, right? Caligula, right? Caligula, formerly known as Gaius, was the third Roman emperor and the third Roman son of popular Roman general Gaius and Augustus. Okay, right. Caligula, right? Roman emperor ruled from AD 37 to 41, the son of a popular Roman general, Germanicus, and Augustus' granddaughter Agrippina the elder. Caligula was born in the first Roman family of the Roman Empire, conventionally known as the Julia Claudia dynasty. Germanicus' uncle and adopted father Tiberius succeeded August, emperor of Rome. Although he was named after Gaius Julius Caesar, he acquired the nickname Caligula, meaning little soldier's boot, from his father's soldiers during their campaign in Germany when Germanicus died in 2019. Agrippa returned with her 6 children to Rome, where she became entangled in a bitter feud with Tiberius. The conflict eventually led to the destruction of her family, with Caligula as the sole male survivor, untouched by the deadly intrigues. Caligula accepted an invitation and set on to join the emperor of the Capri with Tiberius. This is not long for. There were few surviving sources than Leon Caligula. Okay, I want to get to what fucking Caligula actually did during his fucking reign. Okay. It's not going to. Okay, they're not going to tell you the sexist. Okay, this guy fucking raped his own sister and then cut her open to kill the child because he thought the child was going to like grow up to take over. He thought he was a god. He thought he was going to live forever, and he thought that the child that he sired in his own sister was going to grow up and kill him. So he cut the child out of the belly of his own sister, murdered his sister in order to kill the child. This guy was a fucking crazy motherfucker, right? Yes, Trump hasn't done anything like that, but he did fucking talk about doing shit like this. I could fucking kill people and fucking, you know, whatever street it was he was talking about, and nobody would fucking care about. He thought like fucking Caligula, you know what I mean? He didn't do the action, but he fucking thought it, and now he thinks he can just fucking overturn the people's fucking vote in America. He's thinking of putting the fucking troops in, and Caligula did that as well. He put the troops on the street. He murdered fucking hundreds of thousands of his own citizens, you know. You should look it up. Emperor of Rome, Caligula. They're only giving you, like, know who he was related to. They're not telling you what he'd done. See if you can see it in here through the Senate. Caligula's action as emperor was described as being especially harsh to the Senate, to the nobility, and to the equestrian order. According to these actions led to several failed conspiracies against Caligula eventually also. Yeah, so they're not really going into any fucking detail here. Google Caligula movie and watch it. Right? Shit. The guy was a fucking monster. And he wasn't restrained by any constitution. He was a god, basically, right? Donald Trump wants to be a god. You should look up Caligula and honestly, you should fucking look it up, watch the movie. It is fucking horrific. Donald Trump wants to be like every single authoritarian in the world Trump has made pals with, and he's told all his friends to fuck off. That's a sign that he is like Caligula. If he had the power of an emperor, which was what he was trying to get in America, he would have he would have arrested all his political enemies, and he would have butchered them. He would have hung them, tortured them, hung them, and put it on TV for his fucking fans to watch. That's the kind of person that fucking Trump is, man. Yeah. Guarantee you that's the sort of shit he would have done, you know. Anyway, let's continue.
You may not hold political power, but you can go and comb through YouTube videos and find the clues that the powerful have left you, you know. I think you're exactly right. I think Trump pulled back the curtain in a very pundit way, you know, and that's what punditry is. Punditry is all about this idea that politics isn't real. It's a big giant lie that we tell people to manipulate people. The real game is whether or not those lies will work. And I think Donald Trump is the embodiment of that. It's professional wrestling saying, yeah, it's not real. We do choose people, but isn't it interesting how we choose people, you know? And I think that game within the game is one of the more innovative and dangerous things that we've actually seen. And it's led to an entire political party and movement now that has no interest in changing anything or doing anything besides accumulating power. It's a completely symbolic play at this point, and that is actually not just nihilistic, but I think incredibly dangerous.
All right. So, what do we, what, like, you know, you talk about the Carter Malaise speech in your book, and it's sort of,
So I've got to say this as well. You should read the book about the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. Right? You should read the books about how Britain became an empire and how it lost its empire. And then you should look at your country, if you're an American. Look at it. And then tell me if the reason that your rise to fame, rise to ascension in the world hasn't been destroyed by people like the Republican Party and Donald Trump. Donald Trump wasn't the person who destroyed America's position of power in the world. It was the American outlook on life and its failure to pay attention to what was said by your founding fathers. Your democracy will continue to be a democracy of freedom for the people, so long as you pay attention and fight for it. I'm not saying that you need to fucking raise arms and go and shoot people like you did when you know, kicked the British out, right? What I'm saying is, you need to make sure that every single person has the right to get the ability to vote. And it should be easy to vote. And it says in your premise to the Constitution thing, you are a nation governed by the people, by the people, for the people, by the people. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm butchering it, right? Yeah, well, make sure that's still true. Make sure that is still true. That is the most important part of your whole fucking Constitution. I don't give a fuck about the First Amendment, but free speech. I don't give a fuck about your Second Amendment. You can keep all that, but you're going to understand what it was your founding fathers were trying to do. They were trying to make sure that you could never be taken over by a prince, a queen, princess, king, emperor. They were trying to make sure that could never happen to you. And yet, look at how half your country bows their knee to Donald Trump. That is going back to the fucking 1700s in Britain, or anywhere in the world where people bowed their knee and wouldn't speak back to the emperor or the king. You know what I mean? You cannot let your experiment in democracy, true democracy, where the people have the power, you cannot let that be taken away from you. You cannot. If you do, you will no longer be the United States of America. You'll be simply like any other state in the world. And in fact, in the last 4 years, you have been like any other state in the world. Have you not noticed the way that other nations look at you from the last 4 years? You're no longer a special case. You're a fucking. Oh my God, how can it? Donald Trump has ridiculed America. Ridiculed. Have you seen him come to Europe and been laughed at? God. If you don't understand what you had before Donald Trump and what you've lost because of Donald Trump, you will never regain that. Never regain it. You need to think about it. Anyway, happy fucking New Year. I'm not going to go in. I'm going to go and watch a movie now. Happy fucking New Year, America. Happy New Year, the whole world. And Swangy fucking va, motherfuckers.